I'm a reasonable guy, but I've just experienced some very unreasonable things.
Depends on how you look at it.
The hell it does. So somebody, I don't care who, tell me what is going on.
The truth?
I can take it.
We don't know.
Not every movie is meant to win an opening weekend. Some show up at the wrong time. Some take risks audiences aren't ready for. And some just get crushed by bad timing and bad marketing. They flop. They disappear. Or at least that's what's supposed to happen. Years later, something strange happens. These so-called flops get rediscovered. What once failed at the box office slowly earns a devoted following. The weird ideas, the odd characters, the stories that made more sense years later than they did back then. Here are 10 films from 1986 that bombed, but fans refuse to forget. Subscribe to explore the undeniable charm of films that found their legacy long after the credits first rolled.
What do you want, Captain? An honorable death?
They want to live, Father. They say that God has left them. He's deserted them. Has he?
Number 1. The Mission, 1986. Roland Joffe's The Mission begins not with excitement, but with the haunting music of Ennio Morricone as Jesuit priests enter the jungles of 18th century South America to bring peace and Christianity to the Guarani people. The narrative shifts from serene spiritual devotion to harrowing conflict as colonial powers force the missionaries and native allies into impossible moral choices. Despite winning the Palme d'Or at Cannes and later an Academy Award for Best Cinematography, the film earned only about $17.2 million worldwide against a significantly larger budget. Turns out, audiences in 1986 were less drawn to meditative pace and bleak colonial themes in a marketplace that's dominated by lighter summer fare. But it has been reassessed for its emotional resonance over time, as well as the visual grandeur of Morricone's unfading craft. It now regularly appears on lists of outstanding religious and historical films, and is studied for its complex portrayal of faith, resistance, and cultural collapse. Today, its reputation as a quiet masterpiece endures among cinephiles who appreciate films that challenge the conventional narrative and insist on personal and political reflections. Number 2. Legal Eagles, 1986. A blend of courtroom intrigue, romance, and lighthearted caper pairing Robert Redford and Deborah Winger under the direction of Ivan Reitman. Redford plays an ambitious U.S. attorney and Winger is a spirited defense attorney forced into an unlikely partnership that blurs professional ethics and personal attraction. Although the film featured major stars and an appealing mix of genres, it underperformed for a production this big. Critics say the narrative felt too overcrowded, and the movie failed to secure that word-of-mouth momentum upon its release. But this lukewarm reception wasn't enough for Legal Eagles to be forgotten completely. It found its niche following among fans who specifically enjoy genre hybrids that mix legal drama with breezy romantic comedy. The interplay between established stars and the occasional clever courtroom twist gives it a charm that resurfaces on cable and home video, where audiences keep rediscovering it with fondness it always deserved. For viewers who love a nostalgic movie night, the 80s fashion and electronic soundtracks gets the job done.
You have no power over me. You have no power over me.
Number 3. Labyrinth, 1986. Labyrinth emerged in 1986 as Jim Henson's ambitious fantasy project starring a young Jennifer Connelly as Sarah and David Bowie as the Goblin King. The film combines musical elements, intricate puppetry from Henson's Creature Shop, and a surreal, fantastical maze full of bizarre creatures and dreamy visuals. At the time of release, it underperformed commercially in the United States and earned around $12.7 million domestically, against an estimated $25 million budget. A poor opening compared to other summer films that year. It is said that audiences found it difficult to categorize it with the whimsical tone and strangeness. Despite the initial box office disappointment, Labyrinth found a new life on home video, television broadcasts, and later DVD releases. Viewers embraced its imaginative world, Bowie's performance, and that distinctive fantasy design. It's not a stretch to say it's been celebrated as a timeless gem and has even inspired events like the Labyrinth of Jareth Masquerade Ball. Not to mention the fan fiction and fan art that became a defining moment for the film's identity decades later. Number 4. Invaders from Mars, 1986. Tobe Hooper reimagined the 1953 sci-fi classic as a horror-tinged tale of a young boy who witnesses an alien invasion that turns his town's adults into hostile drones. The production was modest with its elaborate practical effects by Stan Winston, and the film was expected to capitalize on nostalgia for retro sci-fi. To much disappointment, it opened to mixed and often critical reviews, engrossing approximately $4.9 million against a roughly $7 million budget. Audiences had more appealing options on the screen, and the weak screenplay was just not eye-catching enough. Over the ensuing decades, however, Invaders from Mars cultivated a loyal fanbase for itself. These people now find its eerie childhood perspective and inventive creature designs worthwhile. The practical effects work also seems to age more charmingly than many early CGI attempts. It's still a long way from being mainstream popular, but its status has definitely grown through home video communities that celebrate it as an underrated 1980s sci-fi horror. Number 5. Maximum Overdrive, 1986. Maximum Overdrive stands out in cinema history as Stephen King's only directorial credit who transformed his own short story about sentient, murderous machines into an absurd and chaotic spectacle for the big screen. Trucks, arcade games, and everyday devices spring to life to terrorize humans after Earth passes through a comet's tail. This is what happens when you ask an author known for psychological horror to direct a film about machines trying to kill humanity. The film earned roughly $7.4 million on a $9 million budget and was widely criticized for its campy execution and lack of cohesion. Yet, it is precisely this energy that fuels its cult appeal. Horror enthusiasts celebrate the film for its audacious premise and unapologetic extravagance. What was once labeled as a misstep is now embraced as a unique artifact of 1980s genre filmmaking. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're enjoying this journey of rediscovering hidden jewels that defy logic and deliver a bizarre but memorable experience.
You get your chance next time.
Primary objective of the test.
You're damn right I will. You're not gonna be the only one in this family to walk on the moon.
Number 6. Space Camp, 1986. Released in June 1986, Space Camp tells the story of teenagers who attend NASA's space camp and accidentally find themselves aboard a space shuttle bound for orbit. The film starred a young Joaquin Phoenix in his feature film debut alongside Leah Thompson, Kelly Preston, and Tate Donovan. It struggled at the box office, grossing under $10 million domestically against an $18 to $25 million budget, partly due to its unfortunate timing. It opened less than 5 months after the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster, which dampened public enthusiasm for shuttle-themed entertainment and led critics and audiences to view the film as insensitive or wrongly timed. Despite this early failure, many viewers credit it with inspiring interest in space exploration and STEM fields, and it's become a nostalgic favorite among 80s family adventure films. The U.S. Space and Rocket Center even inducted the cast into the Space Camp Hall of Fame, which stands as an ode to its emotional impact. Number 7. Manhunter, 1986. Michael Mann's Manhunter was adapted from Thomas Harris's novel Red Dragon. The film introduced audiences to FBI profiler Will Graham and the character Hannibal Lecter. The stylized visuals and crime thriller approach set it apart from the typical serial killer films of the time. Upon its August 1986 release, Manhunter was a commercial disappointment as it earned approximately $8.6 million in the US, while competing against more mainstream offerings. Mixed reviews critiqued its heavy emphasis on style and pacing, and the domestic box office performance was modest relative to expectations. But as the time passes, Manhunter has been starred as a pioneer in the psychological thriller genre. Its visual strategy and tension-building techniques influenced future crime storytelling, and the fans found an appreciation of its early cinematic portrayal of Hannibal Lecter. It is frequently rewatched and is considered key inspiration of later films produced by the Hannibal franchise. Number 8. From Beyond, 1986. This is an American science fiction horror film directed by Stuart Gordon and loosely based on the H.P. Lovecraft story of the same name. The plot centers on scientists who activate a device that stimulates the pineal gland, leading to contact with otherworldly creatures. On its 1986 release, From Beyond grossed just over $1.2 million against a fairly large budget, and this opening marked it a commercial failure in theatrical terms. On the one hand, some critics were praising its visuals and horror elements, while others found it too unsettling or grotesque. Despite this poor box office performance, many fans grew fond of this bold adaptation of Lovecraft's themes. The unsettling imagery that was once deemed unacceptable is now celebrated.
That's it. No more Mr. Nice Duck. Let the female creature go.
Number 9. Howard the Duck, 1986. Howard the Duck crashed into theaters in 1986 as a Marvel adaptation produced by George Lucas. It featured a wisecracking, cigar-smoking duck transported from his homeworld to Earth. It was intended as a quirky blend of comedy, sci-fi, and satire, but critics and audiences were confused by its tone and character design. The film grossed around $16.3 million domestically against a $30 to $37 million budget and was since pronounced a flop. Negative reviews highlighted inconsistent humor and an oddball hero that failed to resonate with audience expectations. The disastrous release did not diminish the Duck's charm completely because fans soon picked up on the quotable humor, through which it earned its rightful place in early comic book history. The old-school aesthetics made it a favorite for midnight screenings for comic book readers. So it might not be the best adaptation out there, but it's still valued as a lovable oddity in the character's evolution. Number 10. Big Trouble in Little China, 1986. When Big Trouble in Little China hit theaters in July 1986, it seemed like a bold and fun mashup of martial arts action, fantasy, and screwball comedy, all anchored by Kurt Russell's swaggering anti-hero Jack Burton. Directed by John Carpenter, the film shows Burton and his friends go against ancient Chinese sorcery beneath the streets of San Francisco's Chinatown. Despite this kinetic energy, the movie failed to connect with audiences and grossed only about $11.1 million domestically, against a $19 to $25 million budget. It opened in an extreme competition with the blockbuster called Aliens that may have overshadowed its release and contributed to its poor box office performance. Yet, the very elements that bewildered 1986 audiences are today celebrated by genre fans. Its rapid-fire dialogue, wild blending, and Carpenter's subversive humor helped the film flourish on late-night TV. It also came to be praised for its offbeat tone, memorable one-liners, and one-of-a-kind choreography that make it one of Carpenter's most entertaining works. While these 1986 films may not have been box office successes, they've become cherished gems in the eyes of devoted fans. Years, and even decades later, their unique storytelling and characters turned them into cult classics. It's proof that sometimes the movies that don't fit the mold are the ones that stick with us the longest. So, the next time a movie flops, don't let it go too easily, because it might just need a little more to find its true crowd. Subscribe now, and we'll make sure to keep digging up unsung heroes of cinema history.